If you struggle to make money on YouTube, it's because you're not doing these 19 tricks. Most of the YouTube advice that you hear, like posting consistently, copy what's already working, or just create good content, whatever that means, none of that actually helps you build a business. Since I started my YouTube business back in 2016, I made every mistake possible. But those lessons, they pushed me to quit my job in 2018 and turn YouTube into a full-time business. And today, I'm breaking down the 19 lessons that fixed my business so that you can fix yours without wasting years like I did. By the way, I break down a lot of these tips in my weekly email called Your Extra Paycheck. You can join and ask questions by clicking the first link down in the description. All right, let's get into it. Number 1. Back when I was growing one of my smaller YouTube channels, new videos, they struggled to get views. Essentially, YouTube didn't know who to show my videos to. So to solve that chicken or the egg problem, I started guesting on podcasts. People who listen to podcasts are used to consuming long-form content. So as long as you appear on the right podcast, you can attract your perfect potential customer. The result was my email list blew up, and when I released new videos, I finally had an audience on my email list that would want to watch those videos. This helped YouTube to kind of figure out who liked my videos and push it to people who would benefit from the content that I was creating. So the lesson here is to do whatever is necessary to get relevant traffic to your channel. The traffic has to be relevant though, because YouTube will use the watch history of those people to see who else would like to watch your videos. Number 2. I had a potential sponsor reach out to me to be featured on a single video on one of my channels. They wanted to pay me $150 for a 30-second spot. But the work to get a 30-second segment inserted into a video, to me, it's not worth $150. It's just not enough money. So instead, I did something different. I pitched them the opportunity to help solve their real problem, meaning why they wanted to be on my channel to begin with. Their problem is that they wanted to get more sales. Go figure, right? So I pitched them not just one video, but 4, a couple of email blasts to my list, and premium link placement on my channel. By putting together that package, the goal here was to increase the click-through rate as much as possible on these links so that they could get more sales. So I turned that $150 sponsorship into a 4-figure deal. The lesson here is that you can make much more money with sponsorships by knowing how to talk to them. Don't just take what they say in the email at face value. Dig deeper and see what it is that they actually want, their campaign goals happen to be. Then structure a pitch and see what they say. Number 3. Now, back in the day, in addition to YouTube videos, I used to make money by creating blogs on websites. Now, people would find my blogs and YouTube videos, and hopefully they would click on one of the affiliate links to then go on and buy something. If they did, I got paid. But if they didn't, they were gone and I probably never saw them again on my website. But the same is true for YouTube, because if YouTube just decided to delete my channel because I sneezed wrong or no longer sent traffic to my videos, then my business wouldn't make $1. So to fix this, I started collecting email addresses. By collecting the contact information of these visitors to my website and to my videos, I was able to contact them directly regardless of if they saw my content on social media or not. This saved my business multiple times, because when I would get sick and couldn't create content, or if I put content on social media and my reach tanked and no one actually saw the videos or the content, I still emailed offers and made sales to my list. If you want to see a good example of how to do this, check the first link in the description and join my email list. It's called Your Extra Paycheck, and I provide free information weekly on how you can better monetize your YouTube channel and stop leaving thousands of dollars on the table. Number 4. I've started tons of YouTube channels, some entertainment content, but mostly educational content channels. And each time, the educational channels made way more money. Now, I get it. It is really tempting to do the entertainment content on YouTube because it is super popular. When you open up your YouTube app, that's usually the first videos that you're going to see. But entertainment content is some of the hardest content to make money from. So please, I'm begging you, don't be a YouTuber, at least not in this classical sense. Content like documentaries, vlogs, prank content, they all depend on one success metric: views. But if you've noticed, my goal of this entire channel is to divorce your channel's value being tied directly to views. Your channel needs to be known for the value that it provides. So the lesson here is to keep things educational if you can. That doesn't mean that you cannot have fun creating the content, but create the content with the idea that you'll eventually have an offer that will make you some real money down the line. Number 5. When I still had my office job, I was just getting started trying to run my business. But running a business can be expensive if you don't have any money coming in. So this usually requires some kind of investment of your own money or money that you borrowed from someone else, like a friend or family, or worse, and I don't recommend it, borrowing from a credit card. Regardless, the business trying to fund itself is hard enough, but then asking that same startup business to fund your life is nearly impossible. So I kept my office job until my business was generating about 5 times the amount of money per month that my regular job was making. Number 6. When I was first starting my business, one of the biggest that I had was monthly costs to different types of software. And when a business is not making any money initially, it's tough to justify spending hundreds or maybe even thousands of dollars per month to keep the business running. Until I found out about this little hack. They're called LTDs, or lifetime deals on software. Here's an example. I have a YouTube community and I use a software that's called Heartbeat. It's very similar to School, but it's better than School in my opinion, but that's another argument for another day. Anyways, as you can see here, Heartbeat is a pretty expensive software at $129 per month. But back in 2022, they were on a website called AppSumo. Now, AppSumo allows you to buy into companies when they're first launching for a discounted one-time purchase. So I spent $159 for lifetime access to this outstanding software, saving me over $1,500 a year. So the lesson here is, when you find a software that your business needs to function, look on AppSumo first and see if there is an equivalent that exists. Be sure to read reviews and make sure that it's a good software that's worth investing in. Number 7. This is a trick that I don't really share with anyone, so be sure to listen up. One of the hardest things for me to do is concentrate. I totally have ADHD brain, and as a result, I get distracted easy, or worse, I'll work for like 8 hours and get absolutely nothing done. Until I discovered Brain.fm. For clarity, this is not a sponsored post or a sponsored mention or anything like that. But if the good people over at Brain.fm is watching, hit me up. Anyways, this app has changed my life in so many ways. It's essentially music that doesn't have any lyrics, but it uses advanced brainwave technology to help you focus. So now, if I want to block out time to do some work on a script, I just plug in with my headphones, set the timer on the app, and get to work. Now, you don't have to use Brain.fm. YouTube has plenty of lo-fi beats and other types of music that you can listen to, but I love Brain.fm because they have the medical white papers to back up what they're actually talking about. Their technology is great and it works. Number 8. I was once part of a YouTube community, and the main guy who ran the whole community, he had this wicked amazing skill. He could just look at a title and at a thumbnail and know if it would get views or not. And more than half of the time, he was right. So I paid him to hop on a call and ask him point blank, how is it that you're able to automatically know if an idea is good or not? And he told me this: identifying good ideas is not a science, it's an art. You have to learn how to flex that muscle through practice and trial and error. I'm gonna be honest, at the time when I heard this, I thought the guy was crazy until I started flexing my own artistic muscle. So this is what I did. When I saw one of my videos or a video like on another channel do really, really well, I constantly asked myself a specific question. What about the idea made this video remarkable? Can I look at the thumbnail and immediately know what the video is about? Can I understand it at a glance? When I started asking those questions over and over again, I got to the point to where I could look at an idea and know if it was good or not. So the lesson here is you will learn how to identify good ideas by creating and studying what is already working. Notice I didn't say copy what's already working. You want to identify the psychology behind why things work on YouTube. You can also take this a step further by looking across other niches and trying to make sense of why a video did well or why a video failed. Number 9. Earlier in this video, I mentioned that I started my business in 2016, but technically it was like 2015, all right? But I don't really count that, and here's why. I had just discovered that I could create content and get paid for it. So I started creating content, but I did everything on my own. I would create websites, I would create the articles on the websites, I would create the YouTube videos, all with nearly zero experience at the time. And of course, you guessed it, I got 0 results. And there's a reason for that. What I was making was pretty trash, all right? It didn't deserve views, it didn't deserve impressions. Me starting my business in 2015 was basically a false start. I don't really count my business starting until I actually hired someone to help me figure out content creation. After investing in myself and getting help from someone who had already done it, I was able to start creating better content and not just get views, but sales also. So if you have money to invest, find someone that you trust and follow their methods and what it is that they did to be successful as well. Number 10. I'm not great at retaining stuff or information. So if you're anything like me, I can't even remember a 10-digit phone number, but something that's helped me to retain information better has been to take notes on what I've learned. So anytime I bought a course or I hired a coach or consultant to help me out to fix a problem, making very detailed notes helped me to retain that information. It also helps me to be able to review that kind of information later on as time goes on so that I wouldn't forget it. Now, I know everyone and their mom on YouTube uses Notion or Evernote to keep notes. But honestly, I just use plain old Apple Notes. It's free and it works. So the lesson here, just keep good notes on what you learn. Number 11. After I had successfully quit my job back in 2018 to concentrate on my business full time, I got bitten by the business bug. So I started like 3 other businesses and it was the wrong move. I thought I was a genius and I saw money opportunities everywhere and I just struggled to make any individual one of them work. And there was a reason for it, because I had good ideas, but none of them really took off for one primary reason. My heart just wasn't in it. I was purely in it just for the money. And as a result, each business failed. I wasn't helping people. I was trying to help myself. So the lesson that I learned was when I concentrated on helping others, my business, it flourished. When I was trying to help myself, my business flopped. So to have a successful business, solve a specific problem for one type of person and then find a way to get it to the masses. Number 12. Since 2016, I have burned myself out on YouTube, and mainly because I wasn't doing this next trick. So here is my normal workflow for creating a YouTube video. Idea, title, outline, script, edit, finally publish. Now, out of everything that I just listed, edit by far takes the longest to do and it has the least amount of return. But the problem is I was getting stuck editing my own videos for years because I never wanted to outsource to anyone else. First, I thought I didn't want to spend the money for it. And number 2, I didn't think anyone could edit as well as me. In 2020, after years of doing my own editing, I finally hired and trained a few editors. And that decision completely transformed my business. The hours of time that I was saving allowed me to create everything else better. So even if you are good at editing or if you enjoy editing, the second that you can afford it, outsource it to somebody else. This will help you take back your time and create better content. Number 13. We can all probably agree that Alex Hormozi is one of the best marketers that's on the planet. But did you know that he charges $150,000 just to speak at an event? Now, I am all for hiring people who have already done it to help you skip on the learning curve. But it's fair to assume that most people do not have $150,000 just sitting around waiting to invest. But let me ask you this, do you have $30 sitting around? So why do I ask you that? Well, that is about how much it would cost for you to buy Alex Hormozi's 3 books, $100 Million Offers, $100 Million Leads, and $100 Million Money Models. And guess what? Alex reveals enough in those books to turn a business profitable in no time. So the lesson here, get $150,000 worth of education for $30 and simply read a book. It doesn't have to be one of Hormozi's books, but any good book can help you to level up your business. Now, some of my favorites are Atomic Habits, 12-Week Year, The One Thing, Profit First, and Storyworthy. So be sure to check those out. Number 14. Back in 2020, my business was booming. It was doing really well. My YouTube channel was growing like crazy, but I was dealing with a problem. I had been working full-time for myself for a couple of years, and I struggled to stay organized. To be honest, it's a miracle that I got anything done and I got where I was, but I wasn't used to setting my own deadlines. Let me explain. When I was working an office job, I had a boss that told me what to do, when to do it. So there was very little mystery on what I needed to do, but working for myself, I had to be my own manager, and I struggled at it. I would work for a couple of weeks on the most random things that didn't really grow my business, but it felt like work, right? Like answering emails, learning, organizing my insane amount of notes that I was taking, and nothing really was moving the needle in the business money-wise. But then I did something that changed everything. I bought a whiteboard. Yes, a physical whiteboard that's sitting right next to me on my desk. It was something that wasn't digital. It was something that I didn't have to worry about being tucked inside of a folder or something. It was right there in front of my face at all times. I started using this whiteboard to organize my real goals for the week and for the month and for the quarter, and instantly I became more productive. So the lesson here is to organize your thoughts outside of your digital life on your computer to get stuff done. Number 15. Another side effect of working for yourself is loneliness. Now, I run my businesses 99.9% off of my laptop, which is amazing. But without having someone to bounce ideas off of, or understand your pain when something doesn't work out, or your success when something goes well, you have to deal with a lot of that stuff on your own by yourself. So years ago, I joined a YouTube community that helped me to survive when I started doubting myself. It helped me to get out of my own way and get out of my own head and dismiss ideas that were obviously going to flop because I was able to talk about it with somebody else. So the lesson here is to surround yourself with people who are going through the exact same thing that you're going through. It'll help your mental health when you feel like giving up. Number 16. When I first started my business, I had one checking account. It was the account that I got paid from for my day job, but it was also where all of my business revenue was going. When the end of the year came and it was tax time, it took me literally days to separate business expenses from personal expenses. The next year, I hired a CPA, and I was highly encouraged by the CPA to separate everything and start a legal business. So when I did that, doing my taxes and revenue reports each and every month was super easy to do. Now, recently I started an account with Bluevine, which offers free business checking accounts, which is actually pretty rare. Again, this video is not sponsored by Bluevine or anything, but this is something that will help you get out of your own way. Number 17. In late 2023, the blogging side of my business, it completely died a pretty horrible death. And I made a lot of money by ranking websites on the first page of Google and getting paid for that. But because of AI, Google kind of freaked out, lost their minds, and destroyed the entire business model. And I'm going to be honest, it sucked because I really did like doing what I was doing. In fact, I remember going from making around $12,000 per month in January to less than $2,000 by March. But one thing saved me and my business, and that was recurring income. So to be clear, recurring income is money that is generated every single month. So when you are coming up with your money model for your business, make sure that there's some type of recurring element within it. This helps money come into your business consistently, even if you aren't able to make some new sales. Number 18. Running a YouTube business has a fundamental problem that YouTube is not willing to fix. When you log into the YouTube dashboard, and you usually see this, all right? It's a summary of your last 10 videos. And for most YouTubers, this can give you literal anxiety when you create a video and it pops up 10 of 10. But more than anxiety, it makes the focus on getting more views, when views don't always equal more money. So instead of focusing on views, we need to focus on clicks and sales. And you do this by tracking clicks and sales. So I use a service that's called RevTrack. Now here's something interesting that RevTrack does. Instead of showing me how many views videos are getting, it's showing me a ranking of how those videos are getting more clicks and sales. This will greatly help your business and help you focus on recreating what drives sales and not just views on your channel. Number 19. I am a millennial and fully expect artificial intelligence to completely take over the world, and they're just going to change their name to Skynet at some point. I'm just waiting on it. In the meantime, I'm going to use AI to its fullest extent. So in my business, I use AI to help me with pretty much everything. I have an AI bookkeeper that keeps track of all of my expenses and revenue. I use AI to save hours worth of editing for my videos. I use it for thumbnails, coming up with YouTube ideas. There's a whole gamut of stuff that I'm using it for. So the lesson here is do not run from AI, but embrace it. It will help you to improve your profit margins because things are going to get cheaper, meaning that you will be able to make and keep more money. Applying even a handful of the lessons that we just went over, your channel is going to start growing in the right direction. But if you want to turn that growth into actual income and tactical step-by-step, don't miss out on this video right here. It's all about new ways to get paid on YouTube.